This is my 2012 Acura TL. It's a technology package. This one here has right at 200,000 miles on it. I really wanted to make this video and just show you how this car's held up over the 200,000 miles. It's held up quite well. It's a good looking car. Show you all angles of it. It's a pretty sleek looking car. I really like this body style. This is my favorite body style out of all the TLs. Here's the inside here. So here's the leather seat. It's held up very well. It's got some little wrinkles here and there, but no tears. Let's see. Carpet's good. Floor mats. Everything looks good. Car's super clean. But really, the driver's seat's what I wanted to emphasize right here. Just how, usually, it is starting to kind of wear right here. But for 200,000 miles, it looks great. I've seen them with way less miles, looking a lot worse. Here's the door panel right here. You've got a little cup holder, and can be used as a cup holder in a door pocket. And window switches, driver, passenger, automatic, up and down. Memory seats for two drivers. See, so obviously this is your side mirrors adjustment, and one trick is when you leave it in the middle, it won't do anything, but whenever you have it on the right, set to right or to left, whenever you put it in reverse, it will adjust the mirrors down to show you the curve. Just one thing I thought was pretty cool about it. So let's get in. Go ahead and show you the back seat here. So everything looks good. You got cup holders right here. Let's see. So I'm about 5'11", 5'12", and I comfortably sit behind myself with quite a lot of legroom here. Got some rear air vents. Let's go ahead and go around. Show you the passenger side. Let's see, you might have to move the seat back a little bit. So you have these, there's a lot of storage in this car. Like, you got storage right here. Honestly, this is, being on the passenger side, I feel like if I put something over here, it's probably where you forget about it. Your cup holders, that closes. Power outlet, shift knob, leather wrap shift knob. There's another storage right in here. It's not an ashtray. So here's your glove box, got a bunch of stuff stored in here. Dual tier, lined with felt. You can turn the keyless system on and off. Or no, it's this one. This one's the keyless, and then this one's the so that way you can block somebody out of the trunk. So here's one storage. So you've got more storage in here, and this is just another power outlet. You have a USB and aux. Let's see. Your sunglass holder up here. LED lights. You can set it to where you can do it all from the front. You can set it off, door, or you can turn all of them on, front and rear. It's kind of hard to see. All from the front, but I just leave it on door. And let's see. So there's actually two lights here. This one's like a little reading light, and this one would come on if you push the button here. That one's not going to come on except for when you have them on, but whenever, let's see. So if you have a door, okay. So if you have it set to door, they both come on. If you have it set to on, then you can turn the reading light off. Not sure why you would. I'm just kind of going over your sunroof controls right here. Tilt and tell, or I'm sorry, it's tilts up, automatic back, automatic close, and go back around with the driver's side. Come in here and shut the door. Here's the gauge cluster. Really like this gauge cluster. And push button start, put your foot on the brake, hit the start button. Alright, and here's your navigation system as well. This is on the tech, remember this is a tech package. Tech package also includes button start. And we'll go kind of walk through here. You push the big button right here. Got info. One cool thing, and a lot of people don't know this, if you're ever looking at buying one of these vehicles, you can go into the messages here and go down to just hit all messages, and you can see whenever there's been some sort of issue with the car that has tripped a check engine light, or even down to a tire pressure warning light. Shows it all right here. You can delete these somehow, I'm not 100% sure, but most people don't realize it, and most people don't even realize that you can do this. So, and it should, when you select it, it should show you the dates. See, that one says December 21st, 2017. So obviously that's a very old one. They're all, it's 2016, so yeah, they're all old. And here's your menu for the navigation system. You can input all these different selections. Let's see. You just hit this button to go back to your map. And so here's the center stack. A lot of people don't like how many buttons there are here, but I find it not too hard to deal with whenever you actually have owned the car. Basically, your climate controls are on the sides. Navigation stays right here. So if you think about it, this section of this center stack pertains to the top. This all stays right here, and you can also, just so you see, if you hit XM, let's turn it on audio. It will show you the what's playing and the artist, type of music, and the station if you hit audio here, or you can just change it back to map. Let's see what else. So this, does AM, FM, XM, disc. I think it's got a 6-disc changer, I want to say. Never used it. I've never used it. And you've got your hard drive, Bluetooth hard drive, and USB. And sorry about that. Back in the 2012 TL. Show you the miles on this thing. It's currently, as of February 4th of 2019, car's 7 years old. It's got 203,917, and it has held up extremely well. Let me show you under the hood. Now, the under the hood hasn't been cleaned, but I'll show you anyway. Here it is. Here's the J35 engine. It's a 3.5 liter VTEC engine. got a 6-speed automatic transmission. The 6-speed started in 2012 for the TLs and 2010 for the MDX. It's got electronic power steering as well. Let's see. So this car has its original transmission, everything on it's original, except for all the maintenance items, like the timing belt's been replaced on it at 100,000 miles. And it was replaced at 105,000, so it's due at 210,000 now. And it was just replaced about 2.5 years ago. So that's the reason I'm gonna wait till as late as I can, just because the belt is so new still, and it's all highway miles pretty much. I mean, these aren't city miles, but nevertheless, the car's held up well. You got paddle shifters on the steering wheel, automatic headlights, you got HID lights, and I'll go back out there and show those to you real quick too. I forgot about those. Halogen Fog Lights. You can't hardly even see it. Let's see. There you go. Halogen Fog Lights though, and halogen high beams as well. I'll turn the lights off real quick and show you what the daytime running lights look like. It's just the high beams, just not on as much, not as strong. Like I said, this car is super nice. I've owned it for 1 year. I've had pretty much trouble-free miles on it. I had one issue with it. The one issue was the intermediate shaft bearing. Being this is a front-wheel drive vehicle, and basically from the transmission to the passenger side CV axle, there's an intermediate shaft. There's another word for it as well. I'm just not 100% sure. I can't quite remember what it's called. But there's a bearing that sits there, that right where it connects to the CV axle. So your CV axle is the same length on the driver and passenger side. I think they do that to help with torque steer, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that, but pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway, that bearing just wore out completely, and it was I was going down the interstate at about 65 to 70 plus, and I would start hearing a clack, just clack, 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 just randomly. And it wasn't a constant thing, and sometimes it wouldn't always do it until it got bad enough, and then I thought that it was the and it also at low speed sounded just like a strut mount. So I went in and replaced the struts with factory OEM struts, the full assemblies already assembled, so it had all new parts. I thought that would fix the issue, and it didn't, and it turned out to be that intermediate shaft. That was about a $600 part, plus I want to say another $150 installed. And that's the only problem that I've had with the vehicle though. It's been rock solid, bulletproof, and knock on wood, I expect it to be for quite a long time. I expect this car to be able to accumulate many more miles without hardly any issues. Knock on wood, of course. But anyway, so this, I'm trying to think if there's any other thing. I'm pretty sure that's the only issue I've had with this vehicle. Like I said, I've owned it for an entire year. Tomorrow marks 1 year that I bought it, and like I said, I just had that one problem. there's been other things that I've done. I've put tires and other maintenance stuff, and you know, that bearing was really just a wear item, so I wouldn't call it much of a breakdown or anything like that. That was just something that wore out. It was just time to need to be replaced. One thing to look out for with these vehicles, make sure the transmission fluid has been changed. And even if it hasn't, as long as it's not, if it's dark, I wouldn't buy it. Even if it's shifting decently. If it's dark, it shouldn't be shifting decently anyway. It more than likely isn't. Compared to it being, compared to the fluid being new, a lot newer looking. But when I bought this vehicle, the transmission fluid was changed once in its life. It had 180,000 miles when I bought it, and basically I went in with Honda fluid, changed it 3 times, and that qualifies it as a flush. So you do that 3 times. I do that to all my Honda vehicles, all my Acuras. Every time I buy one, I always do the change it 3 times, and that's considered a flush for a Honda. That changes pretty much all the fluid in the transmission that you can change. Also, one thing about Hondas is it doesn't matter how many miles are on them. I've done it literally on an MDX. I did that, and it had 290,000 miles. Never had a record of the fluid being changed, and the fluid wasn't quite dark, but it was pretty tan, and it wasn't shifting it was shifting okay. It was definitely real firm, and sometimes it seemed like the transmission got a little confused. But if you do that 3x3 change, then it will make it shift like brand new. I always add a 10-ounce bottle of Lube Guard red synthetic. Get that at like O'Reilly's or AutoZone now, or you can get it on Amazon as well. With the Honda DW1, after I do the final change, then I add that, and it makes these cars shift great. Let's see if I can go down the road real quick and kind of get an idea. I'll make another video on an actual drive, but just for the sake of this video, I'll go ahead and take it down the street for you. Get out of here. One thing about the 6-speed that I always noticed is that whenever you feather the throttle, this thing will shift pretty much through all gears, like at 1500 RPMs. Now, you're not going to be moving that fast as quickly, but it is weird how it will shift very quickly through all gears. Let's see, go ahead and go. So then at 45, it'll start shifting into 6th gear. You'll see the RPMs drop all the way down. And on the highway, this thing will do about 30 miles per gallon. So when I first bought this vehicle, it kind of felt like it was lugging, and it kind of does a little bit. But whenever you put your foot down, it'll downshift, or it'll either pick right up. So it's just how the vehicle drives. There's no reason to be concerned. One thing to also look out for is the torque converter on these. There's a software update that fixes it, the shuttering that can happen with these vehicles. But if it was dealer maintained, the dealer should have already done the update regardless. It's something that they do to all vehicles. It was done on this vehicle at 178,000 miles. It was not dealer maintained. And basically, whenever the previous owner took it in for a recall for the airbags, whenever those were happening, they also updated the transmission software. So hopefully this car will never have a torque converter related issue, knock on wood, or any kind of transmission related issue. The transmission's been rock solid on this vehicle as well. It's the fact, it's, you know, it's the original one, so, and it still shifts great. Let's see, I'll start slow on here. There's second. Here's third. There's third. There's fourth. Let's see, now you gotta get going for it to shift into fifth. Oh, there it goes. Guys, leave any comments, any questions that you might have about these vehicles. I'd be happy to answer it and give any advice I can about purchasing one, just what to check, anything like that. If you have one and need to ask any questions about it, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be happy to get with you as soon as I can. Well, all right. Well, I appreciate you watching, and have a good day.